Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm at Apex 2025 and we are at the end of day one of a busy show. I am joined by Eric Miscoll and Joel Scutchfield. Guys, thanks for joining me. It's been busy here, it's been busy everywhere. You happy with what you've seen today?
I am. I'm very happy, actually. It's been very busy, and I just had that verified by a couple of different folks that have been here most of the day and have actually also walked the show. So, yeah, that's why we're here, right?
It's good.
Just
So
to
you
have
haven't been
people
here
as
most
I
of
say.
the day? Is that what you just implied there?
Well, I didn't want you to take my advice.
Okay.
Don't take my word for it. It's been verified by multiples, but I think I checked with the girls just a few minutes ago, and I think we're already over 200 scans. And,
That's really good.
From what I've seen, it's pretty high quality stuff.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about not just grabbing anything and everything to make numbers. Let's try to make sure we're being judicious. So I feel pretty good about it. And just from the people I've talked to and I've met today, all very positive.
Yeah,
and
that's what we like to hear.
And a good amount of near-term real activity.
Yeah.
Right? So with all this stuff going on and talk and waiting, and there's activity. There's activity. I think there's people that have basically said, it's going to be what it's going to be. Let's go.
Let's get on with it. Let's get on with it.
And that's what I've been hearing. I've gotten away from the booth for a bit, and everybody's been. It's the same theme. Good activity, a lot of EMS. They're thankful that because of the event yesterday, the Executive EMS Leadership Summit, that a lot of them kind of hang around that first day, right? And they're out here. So there were quite a bit. People even some OEMs right out there, and I think that. People I talked to are saying the same thing, and it looks busy wherever you walk in these halls.
That's what we want. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We've got this very complex dynamic going on at the moment. We're not quite sure what's happening with politics and trade. We're not quite sure what's happening with the economy.
I'm laughing.
Yeah,
because we've had this conversation before. It's one of your comrades several years ago. I was going through a litany of excuses.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and says, when have we not had something to deal with?
Yeah.
I said, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of changed my outlook a bit. But you're right. It is. It's real, and it's real in the minds of a lot of people, and that's all that matters. Perception can be reality.
Yeah. But I think here in the US, there's enough optimism. There are plenty of companies that are doing really well. I actually, and I heard you saying it on one of the interviews today, Eric, I really like where the middle tier are. Those kind of $50 to $200 million EMS companies. They have got a solid business model that works, doesn't feel the bumps too hard.
And most of them don't aspire to be tier one, right? They love their spot. They know it's
tier one's pretty hard work.
That's a whole different industry.
For sure.
Right?
But I have a feeling, they may move closer to it as a result of some of this nearshoring, reshoring, because they seem to be the best position to take on that kind of work.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple of folks just in the last couple of hours that are looking at a significant amount of work coming back from China.
Yeah.
That they're positioned to be able to take, right? And without mass expansion and brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So I think they could be the recipient of
whatever
windfall is created.
Yeah,
So
it's good that you mentioned nearshoring, because I think there is, certainly this impetus we're in at the moment with respect to trade. If you're manufacturing here, you don't have to worry about it. So, that kind of gives a little bit more impetus to nearshoring and the potential of a US manufacturing renaissance, which I think regardless of what your political complexion is, that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to see that. Do you think that is more about stuff coming back, or do you think it's more about stuff actually not leaving when the volumes start to get a bit bigger?
Yeah, it's interesting. What do you think?
Well, a little of both.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt that there is I don't know what's the right word for it here. If it's a directive, a mandate for for certain customers, certain manufacturers to get out of China.
Yes.
If you're not building for
Make more
China
stuff here.
as quickly
And
as
don't
you
make
can.
it there.
Yeah. So that is that's real, right? That's real, and so that will certainly bring back somewhere, whether it's here, whether it's Mexico, whether it's India, other parts of Southeast Asia. But again, the same rule applies. In the old days, it was okay. This is basically now after about 2000, 2001, we become an NPI center to a degree, right? All the engineering's here, and then boom, send it to China, send it to Asia. But I think more of that'll stay too.
I'm still a proponent of regionalization, in region for region. It's always the most sensible model for this industry, right?
Yeah. Well, COVID
regardless of volume,
too,
right? It makes no sense if you're consuming it here with all the concern about supply chains and sustainability and all that. If it's a billion cell phones needed in the U.S. market, build them in the U.S. The desire to ship them and put on the risk and bring it overseas, I think, is diminished.
Yeah,
because it's a different world now.
I agree with you there. And when you think about that regionalization, and you think about that from a U.S. perspective, and you think about some kind of renaissance, it kind of brings up two of the topics that have come up constantly today, and that is talent and how to manage, retain, train, develop, create a structure for talent where you actually understand how that works and how you get the culture. And secondly, the automation question. How do we manage with the talent we've got or with less numbers to grow those businesses? So, much as we can retain talent, we're all fishing in the same pond, and that pond isn't getting any bigger. So I think those are two big issues. Are they issues you've been talking to people about today already, Eric?
Well, the talent issues come up. Automation just seems, we're at apex. Automation is everywhere. It's just kind of,
and AI is just going to fuel that even further.
And it's just going to fuel it even further. But the talent is real. I still think there's plenty of people. So it's not that all of a sudden, we've wiped out half the population and we're suffering. That's not it. It's the appeal of it. And I've said, pay $50 an hour, your lobby's full, right?
Yeah.
So it's a margin issue for the industry, right? More so than anything else. That's the challenge. But automation is the answer to that in most cases.
Yeah.
And attracting younger people. And I think people are doing some really creative, good things to make this industry, I don't want to call it sexy, but more appealing. Right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. I kind of noticed that and I was talking to someone about this earlier about talent, it's almost like we skipped a generation. There seems to be quite a few 20-somethings around and low 30-somethings. There are plenty of 50-somethings and 60-somethings and even more. But we just seem to have missed that
middle piece.
That middle piece of the
missing generation.
That just weren't interested. And maybe we just didn't have jobs to offer them.
I've been in this sales world for a long time and working with sales channels, rep organizations, and watching that group get older and older, like myself, and getting closer to retirement, and all of us asking and wondering who's next, who's going to take over, how can we sustain this? But we had our sales channel update meeting yesterday prior to the show start, and we introduced 4 or 5 new members to our team, our sales channels team, our reps team, who are all younger, again, ready to go, excited. And I thought, that's great.
That is great news.
And all it tells me is those owners are getting ready to
getting ready
golf, right?
Getting ready to exit.
But at least they had the foresight,
they have a succession plan.
And they found, what I would consider to be, relatively young, energetic people to carry on.
And that's but you also need that because the people that are across the table from them are going to be that generation.
And I was that guy at one time too, right? Believe it or not, I was young once.
And that's it. I mean,
we're all young guns.
We have to make sure there's the Vulcan mind meld in there somewhere where it's passed along. Now, some of that, I think about like quoting, right?
Yeah.
Quoting, especially an EMS company, that was a closely held secret, how they did that. Now we have the quoting software, which is just ubiquitous in the industry, right? So it's almost that some of those secret, the gamesmanship has been it's been flattened out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can tweak it a bit. I'm no
Yeah.
expert on the software, but so there's some advancement.
There's some software automation,
more openness,
Exactly.
yeah,
transparency in the industry.
That's changing
And
things.
probably some AI in there somewhere too, right?
I hear a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a hair, just a touch.
I mean, they used to do, what was it? The old trick on the spreadsheets is you put it to the third decimal point, right? Because most just reflect 2, but if it's 2, 4, 4, right? How does that round? People made a lot of money in the industry based on that third decimal point, right?
Well, that parts price variation is pretty important to the EMS industry,
So
especially
critical.
when you get into tier 1 and that high volume.
Exactly right. That's
It's it's
without
super
it
sensitive
didn't
area.
exist.
No.
Arguably. So.
It absolutely makes all the difference. So yeah, AI is obviously a bit of an elephant in the room. You've seen it at lots of places at the show. There's lots going on. We'll be talking about it on every panel, every interview we do for the coming months.
New buzzword to replace smart factory.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm excited by the speed it's moving.
Yeah,
I mean, certainly in the way I use it as a consumer rather than in the industry. But actually, I am certain that we'll have real game changing between now and the next Apex.
Oh, it's happening quick.
So I've been challenging some of the AI guys away from the booth, telling them that the solution on one hand is the loading of an airplane the most efficient way. I think AI, there's a problem that screams for it, right?
Just start in the back.
Yeah.
Go for
Well,
it.
it makes sense to load back first, but the people at the back have paid the least, and the people that have paid the most want to get on
See,
first because they want the overhead
all
space.
these
Yeah, that's
variables,
it, right?
Maybe the door should be at the back. Maybe it's
They
as
used
simple
to
as
have
that.
too. Right?
Maybe the
I remember,
aeroplanes.
right?
Yeah.
They used to. So,
Yeah.
and then some blew out, and so we went. They minimized that. But
There you go.
yeah,
There's always a problem to be solved, right?
Absolutely, and you're the people to solve it. Thanks very much for talking to me. Absolute pleasure. I hope you have a great day tomorrow at the show, and we'll chat again soon.
Sounds good. Look
Thanks,
forward
Joel.
to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Phil.